As the Money Burns is an original podcast by Nikki Woodard. Based on historical research, this is a deep exploration into what happened to a set of actual heirs and heiresses to some of America's most famous fortunes when the Great Depression hits. Each episode has 3 primary sections. Section 1 is an audio drama. Section 2 goes deep into the historical facts. Section 3 focuses on contemporary, emotional, and personal connections. This is a special episode and recap for the 91st anniversary of the Wall Street crash. Our story hasn't reached this point, but will soon enough. However, as the crash is central to our story, I wanted to commemorate this historic day. Now back to As the Money Burns. Wall Street crash, 91st anniversary, the crash-iversary. All they want is love. Everyone else wants their fortune. Section 1, Story. The ticker runs in the background as men gather about. The New York Stock Exchange floor is frantic with activity. Buying, selling, one horrible trade after another. Paper slips litter the ground, making it dangerously slippery. After the floor closes, the ticker runs endlessly over the next couple of hours. A distant phone rings in a mansion over a receiver. An indistinguishable voice states, "It's gone." It's all gone. Outside somewhere, a shifting figure, a stockbroker, a lady in refinement, a businessman, a doctor, a repairman, goes to the balcony, smokes a cigarette, and looks over the skyline. Bloodshot eyes, stressed out, everything, all the dreams, all the extravagances, all of it is disappearing with the vanishing light. The sun goes down over the fledgling New York skyline, not quite full of the skyscrapers that will dominate over the next few decades. In a timeless loop, possibly back then or decades later, one lady recollects, "We woke up millionaires and went to bed penniless." The fate of the world has changed. Only no one knows by how much or how long. It will take nearly a year to get over the shock and realize there will be no returning to the glorious summer of 1929. Section 2, History and Historiography. The summer of 1929 was the one of stock market dreams and legends. A rich man's chauffeur and a brokerage house's window washer all played the stocks from tips they saw or overheard. Over 30 miles away from the nearest railroad, a Wyoming cattleman bought or sold 1,000 shares in a single day. A broker's valet made nearly $250,000, and a trained nurse made $30,000 from tips given by grateful patients. The American dream of windfalls and lotteries. It was like one could only miss or lose out by not participating. Reporter Edwin Lefebvre had reported plenty of colorful tales. The ticker service was now nationwide, and a mere phone call would give any investor a happy update. Like a drug fix, it was nerve-wracking to be out of touch with the market. Only there were some small warnings, a random loss here or there, rumors. Conversely, suicides were up that summer as they had been increasing over the second half of the 1920s. In Chicago, a stockbroker, Edwin Page's lover and showgirl, Barbara Cole, committed suicide jumping out of her apartment building, but that was over a broken heart, not lost stocks. Paralleling the Labor Day weekend heatwave, the Tuesday, September 3rd opening market was hot and hit a then all-time record high peak of 381.17 on the Dow Jones, and it would not make that mark again for another 25 years until 1954. Such a great summer, and an Indian summer at that. The lingering warm weather amidst the autumn's beauty of changing leaves. Then things changed, like the weather. The panic began on Thursday, October 24th. That day, 12,894,650 shares changed hands, equal amounts bought and sold. The panic lasted a few hours in the morning, people wanting to sell with no buyers. By 11 a.m., the mad scramble began, and by 11:30 a.m., blind fear took over. Outside, a crowd gathers at a would-be suicide on the ledge. Police were called only to learn it was a mistaken identity of a workman making repairs on top of a building. Around the city, other crowds gathered at different brokerage firms. 11 well-known speculators had already killed themselves in an apparent suicide wave. Around 12 p.m., bankers gathered at the J.P. Morgan offices. At 12:30 p.m., officials closed the visitors' gallery at the New York Stock Exchange. One of those departing visitors was none other than Winston Churchill. At 1:30 p.m., the most respected man of the floor, Vice President of the Exchange, Richard Whitney, appeared as a substitute for the then vacationing E.H.H. Simmons, who was in Hawaii. Whitney assured the bankers were stepping in and buying. Prices began to move upward. It would take until 8 minutes and 30 seconds after 7 p.m. for the ticker to finish updating the day's activities. Firms stayed lit in the evening trying to understand and record all the losses. By the end of the day, the market was only 12 points off. Thus was Black Thursday. There were assurances this was a mere technical error and everything was fundamentally sound. In the past, panics and crashes happened on singular days, with the worst losses finitely confined and ended within that day. This next one would not be so definable and distinct. On Monday the 28th, the disaster began again. Another high-volume day, but not as bad as the prior Thursday. Only 9.25 million shares, but with much heavier losses, and there was no recovery. Then Tuesday, October 29th, rolled around. Selling began immediately. More trades than Thursday, bigger losses than Monday. Too many selling orders, and no buyers. The ticker lagged 2.5 hours behind, with 16,410,030 sales recorded. Wall Street offices were lit all night. Twice that day at noon and in the evening, the bankers gathered. During the day, instead of buying, the bankers had been selling. It was the most devastating in the history of the New York stock market. The Dow closed at 230.07. It would forever be known as Black Tuesday. Our story covers the elite, specifically a set of heirs and heiresses to America's most famous fortunes and their interconnected and intersecting lives in relation to this fateful day and the aftermath of the Great Depression. We've heard their stories in nice, neat, tight little narratives with this historical event as merely a small note in their biographies. Yet everyone knows the experiences of late adolescence and early adulthood stick with you for life and color how you will interpret the rest of it. Thus, the complications of love and money abound. Our main characters include teen heiress, richest girl in the world, the tall and awkward Doris Duke, who inherited the tobacco fortune, which was both an original member of the Dow and behind Duke University. Her own mother, Nana Lean, plots to give the immense Duke fortune to her non-Duke son. Teen heiress, true love devotee, the chubby budding fashionista Barbara Hutton inherited the Woolworth fortune after her mother committed suicide. Her stockbroker father, Franklin, founded with his older brother E.F. the famous E.F. Hutton stock brokerage firm and is better at nurturing the fortune than his daughter. Teen heir, proud scion John Jacob Astor VI, a.k.a. Jakey, survived the Titanic unlike his fortune and will battle his older half-brother Vincent for a better share. Their sister Ava Alice Astor was potentially one of the first to enter King Tut's tomb. Their grandmother Caroline was the reigning society queen of the Gilded Age. Their father was the richest man to die on the Titanic. Teen heiress and it girl Louise Van Alen is by birth an Astor and by marriage a Vanderbilt. Yes, Louise is first cousin to Jakey, and her mother, another reigning Queen Daisy, and her two brothers all have society's rules down. Louise's debutante ball is going to be the event of the season. Prince Alexis Mdivani has come to escort longtime family friend Louise for her debut. He's got a title but lost the rest in the Russian Revolution. Now he needs a fortune. His secret romance with Louise upsets his meddling fan, Barbara. Former Oregon pioneer girl turned international opera singer Cobina Wright hosts the best parties for her stockbroker husband Bill, whose Newport blue blood lineage provides them the best of everything. Cobina advises the heiresses in protocol as needed, but she will serve better as a cautionary tale. Heir to 2 fortunes, Jimmy Cromwell is due to return. Having divorced the Dodge fortune and recovering from a disastrous land deal, Jimmy is a very eligible bachelor, Cobina's former lover, and seems to have taken an interest in Doris. Teen heir Rich's boy Huntington Hartford could be a match for Doris, but neither teen seems to take much interest in the other. He hangs around with Jakey, but dreams of adventure and making his own independent fortune. But his smothering mother Henrietta complicates matters. Now that's just where our story begins, but their lives were far more interconnected and complex. Over the course of their lives, would you be able to guess who's who? One has a fortune, the other does not, another comes with 2, and 3 have far more than enough, though one of those doesn't have a clue. Still another is disinherited, though still more than well off. All will marry at least twice or more, and one within the same family. Another will twice share a spouse with 2 others, first by betrayal and second with approval. And still 2 more will become accidental bigamists due to failed Mexican divorces. Royal titles are always in vogue. 3 engagements, at least 2 failed proposals, 8 actual marriages, 1 title is fake, another bought, and still another claimed twice. Scams abound wherever money is found. Sweetheart, land and oil, and Ponzi schemes are running amok. 3 are in play, 2 more have yet to begun, and 1 will end in the crash. As for the crash, parts or whole fortunes were lost for at least 4, though one is hardly phased, while another's actually increased, and another's was gone long before. By the ends of their lives, 2 will die near penniless, 2 will have been sequestered and drugged, and 2 fortunes will center in famous elder abuse cases. With so much to cover, we will occasionally go backwards and forwards to tie together all the necessary highlights and lowlights. Our story is only beginning, so I hope you will stay tuned and enjoy the ride. Section 3, Contemporary and Personal Relevance. Right now, we are still going through the life-altering pandemic, and it's hard to foresee where our own lives will be in another year. Lives and rituals interrupted, relationships redefined, survival of both physical, mental, and financial are in prime concern. I hope this story both entertains and enlightens, and that we find our happily better afters. Lastly, I want to thank Past Perfect Vintage Music, as their amazingly digitally restored collection has provided a wonderful period value. Check out their website at www.pastperfect.com. The opening and credits song is My Heart Belongs to Daddy by Billy Cotton. As well, Benny Carter's performances are often included in the transitions, and he has already appeared organically within our story. So for this special occasion, please enjoy Benny Carter's Nightfall. If you enjoy As the Money Burns, please remember to like, subscribe, and follow. Until then. As the Money Burns is an original podcast written, produced, and voiced by Nikki Woodard based on historical research. Archival music has been provided by Past Perfect Vintage Music. Please come visit us at As the Money Burns via Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Transcripts, timeline, episode guide, and character bios are available at asthemoneyburns.com.